Bola Tinubu launches expatriate employment levy, targets more employment opportunities and revenue.
CBN hikes interest rates to check inflation.
NTA intercepts largest consignment of heroin at Lagos Airport. Arrest 4 cartel members.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, our focus is on implementation of the Oronsai report.
13 years ago, a 7-member presidential committee led by former head of service, Stephen Oronsai, was set up to advise government on how to restructure and rationalize federal government agencies, parastatals and commissions.
Indeed, the team submitted its report a year later after studying and reviewing previous reports and records on restructuring to ascertain their relevance. They were guided by enabling acts of federal agencies, parastatals and commissions.
Several white papers have been released over the years on this report with no actions taken. Well, just 2 days ago, the Federal Executive Council approved the Oronsai report with plans to implement parts of the report.
And the government explained that this process will involve the merging, subsuming and scrapping of agencies with similar functions to enhance efficiency in the federal service and reduce the cost of governance.
You're right, Victor. The report recommended that 263 agencies under the federal government should be reduced to 161, while 38 of these should be scrapped and 14 relocated to the department and ministries.
And to match words with action, a committee of 8 is currently working on this implementation process, which is due in 12 weeks. The team is to develop frameworks to meet the necessary legislative amendments and administrative processes for an efficient exercise.
And members of the committee include Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Head of the Civil Service, Attorney General and Justice Minister, Budget and Planning Minister, Director General Bureau of Public Service Reform, Special Advisor to the President on Policy Coordination, Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly, while the Cabinet Affairs Office will serve as the Secretariat.
Now, let's give you a sense of what this could translate to, because it implies that several federal government agencies will be scrapped, while some will be merged. For instance, among those to be merged is the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, the FRCN, which is to be merged with the Voice of Nigeria, VON, and known as Federal Broadcasting Corporation of Nigeria.
Also, several other agencies will be relocated. 2 of such are the National Agricultural Land Development Agency, NALDA, which is being relocated to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, while the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, is to be converted into an agency and transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Well, Demola, it may interest you to note that Nigerians are still trying to understand details of the approved parts of the report. And we have a panel of guests joining us shortly to give us more details on how the Stephen Oronsai report will be implemented. And it is on that note that I welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria. I am Victor Azo. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I am also Ademola Adeoye. Thanks for joining us. We are transmitting live on the network service of the NTA here in Abuja. In the course of the program, Chukwudi Okoli Ugbaja will be here to do the usual review of newspaper, but not before the highlights of the morning news with Mina Daniels. Hello, Mina.
Hello, Ademola and Victor. Good morning and welcome to the news. President Bola Tinubu launched the Expatriate Employment Levy, EEL, a new scheme targeting more employment opportunities for Nigerians and more revenue for the government. The president also unveiled the handbook for the scheme, which under the Ministry of Interior.
That good effort is being made to retool, re-engineer the finances of the country and make growth our hallmark. I've been further assured that the project has the capacity of plugging loopholes and gaps that have bedeviled the country in dealing with security challenges.
The Nigerian Labour Congress began its two-day nationwide protest on Tuesday. Here in Abuja, members of the union marched from the Labour House to the National Assembly, protesting economic hardship and insecurity. It was reported that leadership of the 10th National Assembly assured Nigerians that government is engaging with all stakeholders to address the situation as soon as possible.
The President and the federal government will do something, to address this issue.
I want to assure you that the leadership of the National Assembly will look into your requests and demands and take swift and prompt action.
And indeed, that protest has been called off. And moving on, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank has further tightened its monetary policy rate by 400 basis points from 18.75% to 22.75% to continue to check inflation. At the first CBN MPC meeting for 2024, the CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso said after weighing macroeconomic conditions within and outside the country, it becomes critical to increase the rate. The committee also increased cash reserve ratio from 22.5% to 45%, a symmetric corridor at plus 100 and minus 700, while liquidity ratio is at 30%. In its bid to make the Central Bank of Nigeria more accountable and efficient, Senate has passed for second reading a bill to amend the CBN Act. Provisions in the bill seek to strengthen the Apex Bank in maintaining monetary and price stability that will support economic growth. The bill, sponsored by Senator Adetokunbo Abiru and other members of the Senate Committee on Banking, also wants a single tenure for the governor and deputies, as is the practice in the United States and Europe. The amendment proposes placing of limits on temporary advances to the federal government and increasing the CBN's authorized capital from 100 billion to 1 trillion naira. And more than 6 persons have been confirmed dead in Ochanja market building collapse in Onitsha, Anambra State. Anambra State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, confirmed this while speaking to journalists at the scene of the incident. Permanent Secretary Yobe State Minister of Health and Human Services, Issa Bukar, confirmed that 214 cases of cerebrospinal meningitis recorded with 7 mortality and 3 in intensive care unit in hospitals in Potiskum. This is when the State Deputy Governor Idi Bade Gubana paid a visit to 4 affected schools and hospitals in the area. The Minister of Information and International Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said the federal government will exercise its rights within the country's laws to contain rogue actions that want to destabilize national security and the nation's hard-earned democracy. The minister, in a statement, debunked a news report of a coup scare in the country, stressing that the report is unequivocally false and is a heinous act of disinformation. He urged the public to exercise discernment and refrain from spreading or amplifying the unfounded report, which has been strategically planted on some compromised news platforms to subvert the nation's democracy. And those are the news highlights for now. Good morning, Nigeria continues with Ademola and Victor after this break.